Ms. Burgess, you may
So can I
proceed.
hold a piece of paper?
You can do whatever you want.
The desk.
We'll let you know. If you're going to use notes, always make sure they're in front of you rather than having to turn behind. So maybe on the side or on the side.
Sorry. It's been difficult.
The jurors are always impressed by this kind of stuff.
Very much preparing.
May proceed.
Good morning. Could you state your name for the record?
Llewellyn Wilson,
And where do you live, Miss Wilson?
1544 South Brick.
How long have you lived at that address?
About 8 years, I would say.
And do you live there alone?
No, I live with my husband and my son.
How old is your son?
He's 16.
Are you the only three that live in the apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Drawing your attention to the date of April 4th, 2001, did you have occasion to leave your apartment that day?
Yes, I did.
What time?
Oh, I would say it was between 2:30 and 3.
And where were you going that day? The 3.
I was going to the grocery store to get groceries.
And what happened on your way to the grocery store?
Well, I left the apartment to go to the store, and after I got outside, I realized that I had forgotten my money, so I turned around to go back in, and
That's fine. What, if anything, occurred when you went back to your apartment to get your change?
well, there was a man, he was standing outside the apartment building.
Do you see that man in court today that was standing outside the apartment building?
Yes,
Could you point him out?
he's over there.
Your Honor, could the record reflect that she's indicating the defendant?
Yes.
What, if anything, occurred when you attempted to go back into the apartment?
Well, I walked past him into the apartment, and I started to go upstairs.
Where was he at that time?
Well, he followed me into the apartment building after I had walked past him, and then all of a sudden he came up behind me and told me to be quiet and lay down on the ground, and then he had a gun.
Were you already up on the stairs heading towards your apartment at that time?
Well, I was just going up the stairs.
Can you tell the jury exactly what he said to you?
Yeah, he said, "Hush, don't say anything, I've got a gun."
How did you know he had a gun?
Yeah, because he put it in my back, I could feel it.
Did you do what he said at that time?
Yeah, well, I turned, when he first came up to me, I slightly turned to the side to look and see, and I actually saw him holding the gun. But then, yes, I did lay down on the ground.
Was the area well lit?
I would say it had a light there.
Right after he said, "I've got a gun," what happened next?
Well, I turned, like I said, I turned sideways, and to look, and actually I turned to let him go past, I think, and then, I did lay down on the ground when I realized that he was holding the gun to me, and then he raped me.
Let's back up just a second. You said you felt the gun in your back.
Yeah.
Did you hear the gun at all?
I didn't hear the gun, but I felt it in my back, and I saw it.
Okay. Do you recall giving a deposition or trial testimony in a previous trial case?
Yeah.
And do you recall saying that you heard the gun click?
You know what, you're right, I did. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So you did hear the gun.
Yeah.
Did you see the gun?
Yes, I did also see the gun.
Okay. So you obeyed his command?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened next?
He raped me in the hallway.
I know this is very difficult, but I need you to explain in as much detail exactly what happened.
I took off my clothes and he got on top of me and he had the gun in his hand and he had it pointed at my head the whole time.
Which hand was the gun?
His right hand.
Was it in his hand the entire time?
Yeah, he had it in his hand the whole time. Actually, he had turned off, he had unscrewed the light bulb right before that so there wasn't, the light bulb wasn't working.
Could you still see with the light bulb unscrewed?
Yeah, I could still see because there was also sunlight coming in.
And could you please describe for the jury what you mean when you say he raped you? He was on top of you. Could you describe what happened next?
He was on top of me and he proceeded to have intercourse with me until we heard some footsteps coming down the stairs. And then all of a sudden he stopped and he said to go upstairs and not say anything or he would kill me.
In saying the word intercourse, do you mean did he penetrate you with his penis?
Yes.
In your vagina?
Yes.
At any time during this incident, did you consent
No.
to the act?
No, never.
Could you tell us what happened next?
So I went upstairs and it was actually the footsteps of my sister coming downstairs and I told her to hurry and go back in the house because there was a man down there and he had a gun.
What was he doing at this time?
I'm not sure because I went upstairs but I assumed...
Did he release you?
Yeah, he let me go.
Did he say anything at that time?
He told me not to tell anybody what happened or he would kill me.
What happened when you went back upstairs?
We went back into my apartment and I told my friend to call the cops.
Did he?
Yeah, he called the police.
Did the police arrive?
Yes, they did.
Did you ever see this man again?
Yes, actually, I saw him the next day.
When did you see him and where?
I actually just saw him outside my apartment building. He was walking through the alleyway.
What did you do next?
I called the cops again.
And did they come?
Yeah, they came again.
Did you see the man did they arrest him at that time?
No, they didn't arrest him at that time. They had left. But then I saw him again later.
Where did you see him?
I was out walking and I saw him at the liquor store, at Cadillac liquor store.
What did you do?
I went back home and I called the cops the third time.
And did they arrive?
They came.
And what happened at that time?
At that time, me and the police, we went out to go towards the liquor store where I had seen the man, and right before we got into the car, I saw the man walking down the street, and I told him, I said, that's the guy that raped me, and so then at that time...
Objection, hearsay.
It's a statement of identification, Your Honor, made at the time of the proceeding.
Okay. So, dumb objection and it's overruled.
And did they arrest him at that time?
Yeah, at that time they arrested him.
During any time that you were on the ground and this incident was going on, was the gun pointed at you the entire time?
Yes.
At any time did you consent to this act?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
How do I just unhit record?
I think that,
Now, Officer Johnson, drawing your attention to April 5th, 2001, yourself, Ms. Johnson, and your partner, Officer Jackson, were out on the street. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And at that time, you testified earlier that Mrs. Johnson indicated or pointed out the defendant and said, "This is the man right here." Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that exactly what she said to you?
Yes.
And was she indicating the defendant at the same time as saying, "This is the man right here"? Did she point out the defendant?
He was the only guy out there.
And at that time, you and your partner drove the squad car around the corner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In front of the defendant, Herman Burks. Is that
That's
correct? And is that gentleman is the defendant, Herman Burks. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And at that time, you asked Herman to step towards your vehicle, is that correct?
That's correct.
And at that time, he said, I did not do anything to that woman, is that correct?
That's correct.
And at that time, you responded, nobody accused you of doing anything, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you have testified here today that you approached the car and that Mrs. Wilson told you at that time, quote, this is definitely the man, is that correct?
That is correct.
She had said on a previous occasion, that is the man right there, correct? And now, approximately a few minutes later, she identifies him again by saying, this is definitely the man, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that, you're positive that's what she told you?
Yes.
Objection. Asked and answered.
Okay, good, all right, you've certainly done the advertising, okay? In spades. All right, go ahead.
Do you recall, did you make a police report on this incident?
All right, now, wait a minute. Commitment, all done.
Okay.
What's the next thing?
Oh, confront. Oh, just
In reality. Try it, not with the police report, but in reality.
Isn't it true, Officer Johnson, that at another time, Mrs.
No,
Isn't
not
it true?
another time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Isn't it true that actually at this time, Mrs. Johnson said that she actually wasn't sure that it was the defendant, Herman Burke?
No.
Officer Johnson, do you recall making a police report in this incident?
I made a report, yes.
Did you make it close to the time of the incident?
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, I believe you made it on April 5th, that same day. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
And usually, are you thorough when filing your police reports?
Yes, I am.
And you add in all the pertinent information in your police reports?
That is correct.
Do you recall putting in your police report that actually Mrs. Wilson had said, instead of saying, that is the man right there, she actually said, that looks like the man, but I can't be sure. Was that included in your report?
I don't remember.
Are your reports usually accurate?
No, deal with this lack of memory, okay, not accuracy.
You say you don't remember what you included in the report?
That's correct.
All right, you're going to be lectured to tonight about using exhibits.
Can
Let's
I,
just assume this is marked Defense Exhibit 1 for identification, and you're going to show it to them.
okay, Officer Johnson, I'm going to now show you a Defense Exhibit 1 and ask you to look it over for a moment.
Okay.
Is that actually your report you filed on April 5th of 2001?
I have my signature on it.
And your signature indicates to you what?
That I did that file this report.
Okay, and would you say that this is an accurate account of what occurred on April 5th then?
If this is what I put on the paper, then yes.
And can you see there and tell for the jury that it does in fact say that Mrs. Wilson told you at that time that she was not sure that it was actually the defendant? Correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Officer Johnson. That's all I have.
All right, okay, that's essentially it, very good. Yeah, leave the report there, Megan. Good,
Oh,
good.
bye.
Don't remember, okay.
Then you guys go.
Push the red button again.
Not go to the bother of asking permission to approach the witness, but you will, because you're going to have the photographs, in theory. Oh, by the way, after you've handled the photographs, you return to your place and sit down and continue the interrogation there.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Donald Singleton, spelled Singleton.
Mr. Singleton, where do you live?
Osceola County.
Are you employed there?
Yes.
What's your occupation?
I'm a sheriff's deputy
How long in what county?
in Osceola County.
How long have you been a sheriff's deputy?
12 years.
Have you been in Osceola that whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Were you on duty the night of December 16th, 1998, Officer Singleton?
Yes.
What time was your shift that night?
11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
During the course of your shift that night, did you receive a call?
I did.
What type of call?
That there had been an accident.
What did you do with that information?
I went to the scene of the accident.
Were you the first responder?
Yes.
What did you notice when you got to the scene?
It looked as if the accident had gone between an automobile and a train.
What did you do? Or let me
Tried-
rephrase that. What did you observe when you arrived at the scene of this automobile train accident?
One of the train engineers was there, so I spoke with him and observed the position of the train, the position of the car, bodies of the people who were in the car.
What type of vehicle did you observe?
It was a Ford Ranchero.
Are you familiar with if you were to see a photograph of the scene, would you be familiar with it?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that I mark People's Exhibit 1, 2, and 3 for identification. May I approach the witness?
You may.
And I direct opposing counsel that I'm referring to People's Exhibit 1, 2, and 3 for identification. Oh, and you have a copy. I'm going to direct you to what you have there marked as People's Exhibit 1 for identification. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
What do you recognize it as?
That is a photo of the automobile, the Ford Ranchero, at the scene of the accident.
Does this photograph accurately depict the rear view of the Ford Ranchero as you recall on the night of December 16th, 1998?
Yes.
No, not quite. To fairly and accurate portray the scene as you saw it on that occasion. That time.
Does this picture fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it at that time?
Yes.
Has there been any change in this photograph from what you saw on that occasion?
Not that I can tell you.
I want to direct your attention to what has been marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 2 for identification and ask you, do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
What do you recognize it as?
A different angle of the Ford Ranchero at the scene of the accident.
And does this photograph, what's marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 2 for identification, fairly and accurately depict what you saw on that occasion?
Yes.
Officer Singleton, I want to direct your attention to what has been marked Plaintiff's Exhibit 3 for identification and ask you to examine it. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And does this fairly and accurately depict what you observed on that occasion?
Yes.
Could you describe what this photograph depicts?
This is the same vehicle, the Ford Ranchero, at the scene of the accident, from the front passenger side.
And is there any difference from what you observed on that occasion in this photograph?
No.
Your Honor, I ask that Plaintiff's Exhibit 1, 2, and 3, marked for identification purposes, be admitted into evidence as Plaintiff's Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, and that they be published to the jury. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Kenneth Sidlak.
Mr. Sidlak, are you employed?
I am Vice President and Trust Officer of the local bank.
How long have you been the trust officer of the bank?
About 11 years I've been employed by the bank, for something more than 25 years.
Can you describe what happens when a person comes in to set up a trust account?
Well, there are various kinds of trust accounts. Most trust accounts involve the delivery of money or assets, stocks, bonds, etc., to a trust officer for safekeeping and to do what the settlor directs the trustee to do with the money or stocks, to sell them, to invest them, and so on, or to pay out on them.
Is an agreement reached?
Yes, it's called a trust agreement.
Is a trust agreement signed?
It is indeed signed both by the bank and by the settlor of the trust, so the conditions of the trust are clearly established.
And what do you do with the signed copies of the trust agreement?
Maintained by the bank in its files under the name of the settlor of the trust.
Are you familiar with Ollie Miller?
Yes, I am.
Or were you familiar with her during her
I was during
lifetime?
her lifetime.
Did she have a trust account with the bank?
She did.
Did you help her set up that account?
I was there and participated in the setting up, and I was the signature for the bank of the trust agreement.
Did you see her sign the trust agreement?
Yes, I
And did you sign the trust
did. I
agreement?
did.
What did you do with the trust agreement
Trust
after?
agreement is still in the bank files in its original form. Copies have been brought to court.
procedures you set out were followed?
Yes, they were.
Did you have any further correspondence with Ollie Miller after she set up her trust account?
From time to time, Molly Miller sent directions to me as trust officer about what she wanted to do with the assets of her trust estate.
How do you know the letters that are sent to you are in fact from Ollie Miller?
Well, as with any trust settler, when the correspondence begins, we check the first series of correspondence against the signature card that's on file to see that they match. If in our opinion they match, we follow through on them. If there's any discrepancy, we contact the settler either by phone or in person to find out whether the directions are accurate. After we become familiar with the signatures on the settler's card, the correspondence is simply followed through without any further reference to the signature card because it's no longer necessary.
So in regards to the trust of Ollie Miller, the first couple of times she corresponded with you, did you check the signature card?
I do not recall specifically doing so, but since we do it inevitably in all trust accounts, I assume I did it in this account, and I would say yes,
And that's a procedure that you consistently follow at the bank?
always.
Just one moment, Your Honor. If I can take a moment. Mr. Sidlick, would you say you became familiar with Ollie Miller's signature?
I did indeed.
And that, how did you become familiar with her signature?
Both from the original signature card and from the correspondence she sent me over the years.
If you were to see her signature again, would you recognize it?
I'm sure I would.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? I'm going to show you what's been marked Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 29, 34, 35, 36, and 37 for identification purposes.
Yes.
Can I draw your attention to Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 34? And I'm going to show opposing counsel.
Yes.
Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
What is it?
It's a piece of correspondence that was sent to me in my position as trust officer of the bank.
Is there a signature on it?
There is.
Whose signature is it?
Signature is Ollie P. Miller.
Is that an accurate, is that Ollie Miller's signature?
In my opinion, that's a signature of Ollie P. Miller.
I want to direct your attention to Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 36 and ask you if you recognize it.
Yes, I do.
Can you describe it?
It is a letter of direction to me as trust officer of the bank from the settler of the trust.
And is there a signature appearing on it?
There is a signature.
Do you recognize the
Yes,
signature?
I do.
Whose signature is it?
It's a signature of Ollie Miller,
How do you recognize the signature?
because I'm familiar with her signature based on my files at the bank office.
I want to move on to Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 37 and ask you to identify it.
That is another letter that is directed to me as trust officer of the bank.
And is there a signature on it?
There is.
Do you recognize the signature?
I do.
Whose signature is it?
It's Ollie Miller's.
I want to direct your attention to Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 29.
Yes.
Do you recognize this document?
I've seen it since you showed it to me earlier today, but prior to that I had not seen it.
Is it addressed to you?
No, it is not.
Does it bear a signature on it?
It does.
Do you recognize the signature?
Yes, I do.
Whose signature is it?
Signature of Ollie Miller.
Is it the same signature that you've seen on the signature card?
It's only her first name, but it is in her handwriting.
And is that, could you spell the name you see on there?
O-L-I-E.
Is that how she normally spells her name?
Normally she spelled it O-double-L-I-E.
Are you sure that this is Ollie Miller's signature then?
In my opinion, it's Ollie Miller's signature.
Does it look the same as it did when you've seen it on the signature card and when you've become familiar with it?
I never matched this against the signature card. I don't have to. I'm familiar with the signature, and I don't have to match it against anything anymore, except my own memory of what her signature is like. It is not the full signature that appears on the signature card, if that's your question,
But is it the signature of Ollie Miller?
in my opinion.
I also want to direct your attention to Plaintiff's Exhibit Petrol 30.
Yes.
you recognize this document?
I've seen it only today when you showed it to me.
Is it addressed to you?
No, it's not.
Is there a signature on it?
There is.
Do you recognize that signature?
Yes.
Whose signature is it?
It's the signature of Ollie P. Miller, but it's only signed Ollie.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that plaintiff's exhibit Petrol 29, 30, 34, 35, 36, and 37 be admitted as plaintiff's exhibits 1, 2, 3. Okay, Mrs. Wilson, now that we have a crude drawing of the building and you've told us where the man was standing, can you mark for me where the two lights are in the hallway?
There's one light here in the main hallway, and there's another one in another hallway here. There's another light here.
Okay, and then after you go past the second light, do the stairs begin?
They do.
Can you draw in the stairs?
Stairs go up this way.
And where's the basement apartment?
There's a door to the, I've never been there, but there's a door to the apartment on this back wall.
So when you entered that hallway, you would make a right up the stairs, is that correct?
Yes.
And is that the light bulb, is the first or second light bulb the light bulb that was unscrewed during your attack?
This one.
And could you just finish the arrow there to that light bulb? And could you indicate, you may have already indicated, but could you indicate on this diagram where the man was standing when you first saw him?
He was here. That's this circle.
And is that when you were leaving your apartment?
On the way back in.
When you forgot your change purse?
Correct.
That's all I want to know.
I want to know where the window is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or where the
Where the
attack
attack
was.
occurred.
I forgot. Can you mark on the diagram where the window is that lets in light?
No. Yeah. In the stairway?
Yeah.
It's here.
Was the window open or closed?
No, it was closed.
Was it letting in light?
No. Was it shaded or not?
It was not, there's not a shade on that window.
Okay, thank you. Where were you when you noticed the man? Could you indicate where you were standing as when you noticed the man, or the first time he said something to you?
The first time he spoke to me, we were right here.
And could
At
you
the foot of the stairs.
put a dot or a circle where you were standing?
I was right here, starting up the stairs.
And could you put an M again where he was standing?
He came up behind me here. Actually, I was here. And he came up behind me.
And could, yeah, thank you. And could you put those same marks of the circle for you and the M for him, indicating where you were when the attack occurred?
Just right, probably here. Just a few steps forward.
Okay. And go ahead.
Do you want me to raise the prior?
No, that's okay.
No conversations between the attorney and witness are forbidden. We all got it here. Anything you're saying loud enough so the last man in the jury can hear.
Does this diagram accurately depict your apartment building on the day the attack took place? Spell your last name for the record, please.
Eleanor Tutt, T-U-T-T.
Mrs. Tutt, where do you live?
Chicago?
Are you employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
I work for the
Penn Central.
Penn Central.
And in fact, you're currently an engineer for the Penn Central Railroad, is that correct?
That is correct.
And on December 16th, 1998, you held the position of a fireman, is that correct?
That's correct.
On that, early in that morning, you were on a train headed west from Elkhart to Chicago, is that correct?
That is correct.
And there was an engineer besides you present on the train at that time?
Yes.
Your position was of a fireman, though, at that time, is that correct?
That's correct.
What, can you describe your duties as a fireman on that particular train, that particular day?
My job as a fireman was to maintain the engines, make sure the train was in good running order, and when the train was going at a pretty good speed to sit with the engineer on the left side and be a lookout.
And just to back up a second, you are what they call a promoted man or woman, excuse me, at the Penn Central Railroad, are you not?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury what that means?
I believe that means that I'm a fireman, but I also have training as an engineer.
Does that also include that you have the ability to use any and all equipment on the train, and that you have been trained to use any and all equipment on the train? Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you have the ability to use any of the equipment on the train, is that correct?
Ask and answer.
You stated you provide lookout for the engineer, is that correct?
Correct.
Which side of the train were you sitting on that day? Was that the west side or the east side of the train?
We were headed
Oh,
westbound.
excuse me, the left side or the right side of the train?
I sit on the left side. The fireman sits on the left side.
And were you providing lookout for the engineer that day?
Yes.
There was an accident early that morning in Osceola, is that correct?
That is correct.
Let's back up a second. As you were coming into Osceola, what speed was the train traveling?
I don't know. I don't have any of those controls on my side.
Can you estimate? I mean, Osceola is a small town, is it not?
I believe so, yes.
Did you slow down going into the small town?
Again, I don't have any control over the speed of the train.
Do you remember if the train was traveling at consistent speed?
I believe it was.
How fast, what's the speed limit of a train?
In Osceola?
Or heading on that particular route from Elkhart to Chicago? What's the speed limit of the train? Isn't it 70 miles an hour?
I believe so.
Were you traveling close to the maximum speed limit before entering Osceola?
I don't know. I don't have any of the controls on my side of the train.
Were you traveling more than 20 miles per hour? Did you see that? Oh, excuse me. As you were entering Osceola, you noticed the ranchero approaching, did you not?
I did.
Did you notice it before the engineer noticed it?
I don't know.
Didn't you say to him, weren't you the one that pointed out the ranchero to the engineer?
I shouted when I noticed the ranchero. I don't know if he had noticed it before I did.
Doesn't he sit on the opposite side of the train?
He does.
Is it possible for him to see out the left window of the train from where he sits?
Yes.
It is possible. You did warn the engineer though, didn't you?
I did.
When did you warn him? How long after you saw the ranchero?
As I saw it, I noticed that it didn't look like the ranchero was going to stop.
Did you, what they call big hole the train at that time?
I did not.
Can you explain what big hole means to the jury?
There's an emergency brake on my side of the train, and when you, it's used only in emergencies. And when you pull that lever, it's called putting the train into an emergency brake, and that's called putting the train in a big hole.
And being a promoted man, you have the ability to big hole the train in an emergency, don't you?
I have the what?
You have the ability
Yes, I do.
to big hole the train.
Yes.
Did you big hole the train when you noticed that the car was not going to stop?
I did not. I shouted to the engineer.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mrs.
Oh,
Smith.
that's fine.
That's it. Monitor, don't fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Megan Burgess, and I represent the Penn Central Railroad in this case. It's fireman Elmer Tutt and the engineer L.D. Gross. My opposing counsel, Ms. Kitchen-McCottis, is correct. This accident could have been prevented. It could have been prevented with the ranchero stopping at the stop sign of this tragic accident. There's no question that an accident occurred on December 16, 1998, involving a Penn Central train and a Ford Ranchero driven by Mr. Hancock. What the lawyers are going to be arguing about today, and what you will ultimately have to decide, is where the responsibility for this accident belongs, if it belongs with one of these parties at all. The citizens of Osceola are much like the citizens of any small town centered around a railroad. They become accustomed to the noise of trains, long trains constantly going through town, whistles sounding warnings as the trains pass, and having to stop and wait for a train to pass. People realize that trains are not able to stop for them, that cars are able to stop and wait for trains, and must wait for trains. Cars can maneuver quickly, trains cannot. You'll hear testimony that both Mr. Hancock and Mr. Cheek were very familiar with both the Apple Road and the Long Avenue crossings. They've lived in Osceola for many years and are accustomed to trains passing and hearing whistle warnings and waiting for long trains to pass. The evidence will show that as soon as Elmer Tutt and the engineer became aware of the danger, they did everything they could to avoid this accident. Unfortunately, there's not much they could do. Upon entering Osceola, they sounded the normal whistle blows, which is a long, 2 shorts, and a long whistle, starting back at the entrance of Osceola. You'll hear testimony that whistles were blowing up until the point of impact. The evidence will show that as soon as L.D. Gross was warned of the approaching vehicle, he began blowing the short whistle blasts. And you will hear that this is common to alert a vehicle in an emergency, to draw special attention to the train. L.D. Gross did these short blasts because he knows that the train is not able to stop. And the only way to avoid this accident would be for the driver to become aware of the train and to stop the car. He tried to warn the oncoming vehicle because it appeared not to be slowing down or stopping for the posted stop sign. The evidence will show that the only way this accident could have been avoided would have been for Mr. Hancock to observe the stop sign and be aware of his surroundings. You will also hear testimony that Mr. Hancock had a blood alcohol level of 0.07. I submit that the testimony will show that if Mr. Hancock had simply looked to his right and left, slowed down, and stopped at the posted sign, this accident would have never occurred. Today you have an important duty. You will sit and listen to all of the evidence presented, and you will be asked to decide if any of these parties bear responsibility for this accident. The evidence will show you that only the ranchero had the ability to stop. Mr. Hancock had a responsibility to stop at the posted stop sign. Both L.D. Gross and Elmer Tutt, employed by the railroad, focused their attention on warning the car of their approach because they know that is the only way the accident was to be avoided. Unfortunately, Mr. Hancock did not stop, and both of these families have suffered a loss. Sadly, all he had to do was stop at the stop sign. You are here today because you must decide responsibility. Later, when the judge instructs you, you must decide which of the parties had the best ability to avoid this accident. And my name is Megan Burgess, and I'm here representing the Penn Central Railroad, its engineer, L.D. Gross, and the fireman on the train that night, Elmer Tutt. There's no question that this accident happened on December 16th, 1998, sometime around 1 in the morning. What we're going to be arguing about here today is whether some responsibility needs to be allocated for this accident, and if so, where it belongs. You will hear through testimony that Elmer Tutt has been with the railroad and been an engineer for 24 years. He's an experienced fireman with the railroad company for the last 24 years. L.D. Gross has been an engineer with the railroad for the past 26 years. You will hear testimony from both men that they've made this run from Elkhart to Chicago many, many times. The evidence will show that they're very familiar with this part of track. Testimony will show that they complied with all rules and regulations. Testimony will show that L.D. Gross checked the brake system before leaving the yard on their way to Chicago. Testimony from L.D. Gross will show that they received no special instructions about the speed of the train through Osceola. It was 1 in the morning. The evidence will show that L.D. Gross, as he always did on this line, began sounding the whistle in the normal manner at County Line Road before entering Osceola, in the manner of 2 longs, a short, and a long whistle. And he will testify that he was blowing this train whistle constantly until the point of impact. The evidence will show that Elmer Tutt, the fireman, will testify that he acted as a lookout and that he was in his seat acting as a lookout prior to the accident. And through his testimony, he will tell you that he spotted the ranchero when the train was still about 250 or 225 to 250 yards from the Long Avenue crossing. A train cannot stop within 250 yards. A car can. The evidence will clearly show that the only way to have avoided this accident would have been for the Ranchero to stop. Elmer Tutt warned L.D. Gross as soon as he spotted the Ranchero, and L.D. Gross and Elmer Tutt did everything they could to warn this Ranchero to stop. You will be asked today to decide responsibility in this case. The evidence will demonstrate that only the Ranchero had the ability to stop. You must determine which of the parties had the best ability to avoid this accident. Gentlemen, we all know that rape is one of the most outrageous crimes. Next to murder, I would say it's the most outrageous. Rape is a violation not only of your physical person, your body, but your personal integrity. This case that you've heard is about a mother and a wife, Luella Wilson, who was brutally raped, forcibly raped at gunpoint in her own hallway in her own apartment building. The incident was so terrifying she no longer lives in that building. Can you blame her? A terrifying event occurred there. Mrs. Wilson's body, physical integrity were violated in her own building. You heard Mrs. Wilson herself positively identify the defendant as the man who raped her that day. You heard her testify that she clearly saw the defendant as he turned and unscrewed the light bulb. You even heard, although that it was the darkest part of the hallway, you heard Mrs. Wilson testify that she could still positively identify the defendant, Herman Burks, as the man who raped her that day. You heard the testimony about his use of force with the gun to have her undress right there in the middle of the stairwell. You heard her testify that she never consented, and although she was terrified, as anyone would be throughout this incident, she positively identified Herman Burks to the police the following day. The testimony will show that when she spotted him the next day, she recognized him as her attacker in the alley. The very next day, nobody can forget the face of somebody who has physically attacked them and violated their person. She happened to see him the very next day and called police. And the evidence will show that when she took the police to find Herman Burks, that when she spotted him, she positively identified him and said, "This is definitely the man." I want to repeat that. This is definitely the man. I submit that the evidence shows that Herman Burks also lied about his whereabouts on April 4th, 2001, and should not be believed. You heard testimony he told police he was at the glass company, either Northtown Glass or Globe Glass. Both of those stories were given. You heard testimony that later he stated he was babysitting for his common-law wife at the time. And today, you heard him testify that he was at R.C. Brown's apartment all day long. We all know that not all of these stories can be true. And conveniently, in his current version of events, he was picking up R.C. Brown's girlfriend at the time of the incident and wasn't there. Obviously, he's trying to hide something by coming out with 3 or 4 different versions of the truth. Luella Wilson has never changed her story. She told you the defendant followed her into her apartment, threatened her with a gun by stating, "Hush, don't scream, I have a gun." She felt the gun, she saw the gun. He forcibly raped her at gunpoint, and he threatened her life if she were to tell anyone. Luella Wilson is a courageous victim. She was positive who attacked her, the defendant. She positively identified him to police and to you today, the defendant. And you have heard her repeat it over and over again, that it was the defendant who raped her. Please do not allow another crime to take place. Please do not allow her to be raped in this courtroom all over again today. Restore to her some of the jury. This case is a case of mistaken identity, and that's simply all it is. Luella Wilson mistakenly identified Herman Burks as her attacker that day. You heard her testify that when she went back in to get her change purse, she rushed back into the building past the man standing outside. And during the attack, which occurred in the darkest part of the hallway, as she testified, and the hallway actually became darker as her attacker unscrewed the light bulb, she testified that she looked over her shoulder at the gun when he was unscrewing the light bulb. And as we all know, that must be very terrifying. And as soon as she saw that gun, she described the gun. She was focused on the gun. The gun was pointed at her head. She was terrified for her life and wanted this horrible incident to be over. The man who attacked her then threatened her and said, "If you tell, I will kill you." And she was so terrified that she just wanted to run upstairs. Now, you may be wondering, why has Herman told different stories? But he explained to you that the police knew him in the past and that they had tried to get him on for another crime that they weren't able to. And that when he was at the police station, they had asked him where he had worked previously, and he had told them a few different places that he had worked. But we know that his story, his testimony that he was at R.C. Brown's apartment was not a lie. R.C. Brown himself told you that Herman Burks was at his apartment that day. That is the truth. Herman Burks was drinking in R.C. Brown's apartment from approximately 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And R.C. and Herman told you that they were picking up R.C.'s girlfriend during the time of this attack. Also, you heard Luella Wilson testify that she smelled no alcohol on her attacker's breath. Yet, Herman had been drinking all day. The reason for this discrepancy is that Herman was not the attacker. We're not suggesting that Luella Wilson is a liar. She's an honest woman who was subject to an awful attack in the middle of her hallway. She's an honest woman who's made an honest mistake by identifying the wrong man as her attacker. Please do not commit another crime by sending him to jail for a crime he did not commit. I will be asking you to return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you. Or I am asking you to return a verdict of not guilty. Sorry.